Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Harlem. Today I want to do a little chit chat with you guys. I want to talk about online dating and just dating period as a black 40 something year old woman. I mean, I am in a relationship now, but I did have to go through like a dating process, which really sucked. Like, I don't know. My experience with dating was really like crazy. I think maybe like 2 years ago, my daughter, she's 29. She put me on a few dating apps. I think one being BLK and the other one being Facebook dating. And I can't quite remember what the last one was, but the two that I mostly entertained was the Facebook and the BLK. I did go out on several dates only because, as you guys know, I am a widow. Twice, I say. I lost my fiance 4 years ago, and I lost my husband 11 years ago. So my husband was my first everything. We were together for 21 years. So we were children, and we, basically grew together. So that was my first lover, my first everything. And he passed away in 2014. And in 2016, I met my daughter's father, and we were together for about 5 years, and then he also passed away. My husband passed of cancer, and my daughter's father had a heart attack. So yeah, I lost two partners. I don't know. I remember after my husband passed away 3 years later, meeting my daughter's father, and like the women in my family, like my sisters and my adult daughter, was telling me, Mommy, you can't date the first person you meet after a relationship. You have to date. And I was like, I don't want to date. I like him. He's really nice, and I didn't really want to date. So I ended up with the first person that I met, Oh my God. Anywho, so I ended up with the first person that I met, which was my daughter's father. But yeah, this time around, I decided to date, hearing their voices in my head saying, give me 1 second, I'm gonna answer her. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I was saying, hearing their voices in my head telling me that, I needed to date. I need to, sort out a few different people. I decided to go on several dates. I did. And they were crazy. I mean, I really gave up on like dating. At one point, I just gave up, and I just said, I want to be by myself. I see people all the time on the internet saying decentering men. I had decentered men. I said, I don't, I just want to be by myself, raise my kids, and enjoy my life. Like, I don't want to share my life with anybody at this point. I don't know, my significant other now kind of changed my mind about that, but oh my God, he was a struggle too, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, so dating, it was like it was weird because I was on BLK and Facebook, like I said, but I wouldn't pick anybody. Like, it's a way they do it where they say, you could either pick a friend or somebody you are interested in, like as far as to date. So people would pick me as dating, and they would pick me as just wanting a friend, but I wouldn't pick nobody. Like if I I need to speak better. If I saw that like the person was too good looking, I would be like, oh, this is a catfish. Like he's somebody from another country trying to steal my little bit of money. Like scam me or something. That's how I thought. So I wouldn't pick them if I thought they looked too good. And then it was like the dudes were like pookies, like, and then it was like swipe left, swipe left. So everybody was getting swiped to the left, swipe to the left. The only reason why I think that I succeeded on going on dates was because I had a picture on all three dating apps where it was from TikTok. So on the picture, it had my TikTok address on it. So what happened was the guys would find me on TikTok, and they would find me on TikTok, and then they would inbox me from TikTok. And a few of them I did actually start to chat with once I realized, once they would tell me you were on the dating app and I, got your information from the picture, and then I would conversate with them. But I never really felt comfortable as a woman, a feminine woman, like picking a man, believe it or not. I mean, I'm old fashioned at this big age of 48. It's like I'm used to men pursuing me. I'm not the pursuer. But it ended up working out, and I went on dates. I went on several dates, actually, like about 7 or 8. I think 8, making my person I'm with now. But it was crazy just meeting men and their views on women and things in this time. It's just crazy. Like it's just different from, like I said, I didn't date. I met my husband when I was 16 years old. So I think even that young guy at the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, I think those guys back then were a lot more mature than the guys are these days, oddly enough. And I was dating young boys back then. But yeah, let me see. Let's pick one date. Let me see. My third. I'm gonna tell y'all about the third date I went out on. Okay, let's call him Fred, right? Okay. I met Fred. He ended up slipping into my TikTok. But I believe Fred was from BLK, and he ended up going to my TikTok and finding me. And we talked on the phone for maybe about 2 months, I think, before he actually drove to the town that I live in. Fred was from Mississippi, and he was an attorney, and he also owned an insurance company. I don't want to say too much because I don't want nobody to know who Fred is if they live in his town, but I'm quite sure somebody may pick up. I hope not. I hope nobody sees this that knows him, but I'm going to tell my story anyway. So, yeah, we talked for about 2 months. He decided that he was going to drive to my city. The day before he drove out, I had a tornado in my town. It actually touched down right outside of my community, which knocked my power out for like 4 days. We didn't have power for like 4 days. So, yeah, he came the next day after that. But he didn't know that I didn't have any power. And I didn't know that he was coming. And I didn't like cancel with him or anything. So he got here and he checked into a hotel that was in my town. But the hotel did have power. But most of the town didn't have power. We didn't have power for like 4 days. But his hotel did have power. So when he got here, you know, he had knew about the tornado at that point because he drove into the town and saw the damage. I mean, it was bad. It knocked buildings down. Like it not, well, of course, power lines and trees were down everywhere across roads and everything. So it was really bad. So he came in and, you know, I was bored. So I was in the dark, you know, my adult daughter was here. So I was able to go out. So I got dressed in the dark, you know, did my makeup, and I met, what I said I was going to call him? Fred, right? I was about to say Frank. Yeah, so I met Fred at his hotel. So I pulled in, parked my car, and I waited for him to come out, and this guy came out of the hotel and he had on a pink suit, like a pink linen suit. I think it was either February or March. I'm not sure. I think it was still like, because I mean, we get cold in Louisiana, but you know, you still have a lot of nice days. But I think it was like February, late February. And he had on like pink gator shoes, like giving real like sly pimp daddy like vibes. Like a hat, like a pink hat. He had on all pink, put it like this, shirt, suit, like he had on a suit. Like it looked nice, but it was given a lot, like too much. And to be honest, it looked like he had makeup on. Like it sounds crazy, but it's true. It looked like he had makeup on, and he had on a pink suit. So he came out and he like stopped and he looked me up and down, and he like tried to like turn me around or something, and I didn't turn around, and he looked like he got a little upset because I wouldn't turn around. And so he was like, he said, do you feel comfortable in my car or yours? So I said, we can take your car. Because at that point I had parked my car. So he was insistent on seeing my car. Like he was like, what car you drive? Where's your car? So I showed him my car. It's a luxury vehicle. So he, I guess, felt a little uncomfortable. You'll figure that out as I go on with the story. So we left. We went to the city because there was no power here. So we drove to the city. We were supposed to go to some like really, really popular restaurant. I forgot the name of it. I still haven't been to this restaurant yet. But it was so crowded that they weren't taking anybody else. So he, for some reason, like, he kept telling me that I look bougie, and I think he thinks that I'm bougie, and he wanted wings, and that I would probably like feel some type of way if we went and got wings, but he just really wanted wings. So I said no. I said I love wings. I said we can go have wings, you know. So we pulled over at some, in New York, we call them chicken spots. We pulled over at like some random chicken wing spot or something like that. And we got out and we went in. I'm like, you can't, I'm looking at the restaurant from outside. I'm like, you can't sit in there. Like, you probably have to get a takeout. So he comes back, he like, oh no, we could sit in there. Mind you, it's like a little random wing spot. So I'm like, okay. So I go in because I'm from New York City. I'm from the projects. I might be a little bougie now. I might have my life going on, better now, but I'm from the projects in Harlem. So I'm like, I eat wings, so let's get these wings. So we go in, I'm sitting down. This man orders 60 wings. So now I'm like, you ordered 60 wings? He's like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, the man had an attitude from the door. Like, what's wrong with that? So I'm like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a lot of wings. I said, who's eating all these wings? He said, well, I eat a lot of wings. So if I don't eat them, then I'll take them to my grandkids. My grandkids is in town. So I said, okay. And that makes sense. So we get the wings. This man eats about he eats a lot of wings, maybe about 28. I ate about maybe 6. So, we get back in the car. We just talking. We talk during the date. I don't know. He was looking for me to be bougie. I don't know why, but I guess this is what this man does. So, I forgot to say, when we were sitting at the table and we were having small conversation, he hit me with the "what do you bring to the table" question. I hate that question. I swear I hate that question. So I said, really? Did you just ask me that? I told him, I said, I don't bring nothing to your table. I don't know you. I said, but to my own table? I said, I bring everything to my table. I said, everything. I pay all my bills. I cook all my meals. I take care of my children. I said, I bring everything to my table, and nobody brings nothing, just me. That's what I bring to my table. To your table, nothing. So I guess he got a little upset because he didn't get the answer that he wanted to. I guess he wanted me to say what I'm going to bring to his table, or whatever them freaking red pill fake guys say, He wanted me to argue, I guess. And I didn't argue. I just stayed a lady and I just answered his question and told him what I bring to my table. And, and I let him know I'm a feminine woman. If I have a man, I do all those, those feminine things I love to do. I love to cook. I love to clean. For my man, I love to have his clothes washed. I love to do all of those things because I was raised that way. Not because I'm thirsty or all the crazy things that people say. It's because it's who I am. I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother taught me how to cater to a man. So I'm sharing all of this with him. Mind you, we're done eating. We leave. I think the conversation was pretty good. At this point, we're driving back to my town, which is maybe 20 minutes outside of where we were in New Orleans. And we're driving back. So he says, so what do you think? Do you think you'll see me again? And I'm like, it's possible. I said, you're nice, whatever. We had a nice conversation, which we did. I'm not a real judgmental person. I mean, if people say crazy things, I just more challenge them and ask questions. Well, why do you feel that way? Well, why? I'm more like a 3-year-old. Why do you think why? So that's what I was doing to him a lot during that date too. So I was like, so what you think? I said, do you think, because he asked me if I wanted to see him again. So I said, would you think you want to see me again? And he said, see, I had to catch my breath. He said, well, it depends on the sex. So I said, sex? I said, I'm not having sex with you. He was like, what do you mean? I said, you talking about today? He was like, yeah. I said, I don't have casual sex. he was like, well, he said, me personally, I feel like at us being grown, that shouldn't be a problem. And I like to test the waters, because if sex is not good to me, I feel like I'm wasting my time. He said, I feel like I'm wasting my time if we date, and then we have sex and then it's not good, then I'm just gonna leave. So I said, that makes sense, you know, which it didn't make sense to me, but I told him, yeah, that makes sense, but I'm not having sex with you. I said, I don't have casual sex. I said, I do believe in, you know, getting to know people, and I only feel comfortable sharing my body with people that I have built a bond with. It may not be love, but it has to be a real heavy on the light part. Yeah, heavy, maybe even love. Like I don't think I've ever, something going on in my eye, look like something. Yeah, like I think I have to actually love you to share my body with you, or really feel something really deep. And this is what I'm sharing with this guy, but I'm just like, I'm 40 at that point. I think I was 47 or 46. So I'm just speaking my grown mind and telling him the truth, you know. So we get back to the hotel, we sitting, we talking, sharing stories with each other. And, you know, I just really found out that this man was really hurt and was really going through a lot. Like right before he drove to see me, like 2 weeks prior, his son and his son's mother they had flew from the city that they were from to Mississippi to his dad's house, to the son's dad's house, which was Frank. Did I give him the name? Yeah, they flew to his house, and they had the grandson, and they were fooling around in the house, and they let the baby get into the pool, and the baby drowned, and he came out and he pulled the baby out of the pool, and the authorities came and they couldn't resuscitate the baby. So the baby had passed in his pool in his house. So he didn't want to go home. He was like really like stressed out, and he was like asking me if I would like consider moving to, this is the first night we sat and talked for like almost 3 hours, like would I consider you know, moving to Mississippi. Like he was gonna stay in Louisiana in that hotel, and eventually just, I guess, we date, and then if everything worked out, would I think about moving back to Mississippi, and showing me pictures of his house. And like it was really, if you think, it was really crazy. You hear me? And then I'm sitting and I'm like, no, I'm like, you know, you'll be fine. And, you know, just talking to him and trying to, you know, make him feel better. But yeah, so I think the conversation eventually ended in about 3 hours in, and he walked me to my car, and I went home. The next day, the next evening, he called me, because he was there for 2 days. So he called me and he was like, oh, let's go back out. So we went to one of my favorite restaurants here, which is, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Food is delicious. It's like on the bayou. So you have the water, and then you have like the trees are lit up with like these lights, and then you have the bayou on the side. It's a really beautiful restaurant. I'm not saying any names because they're not paying me. So, but it's one of my favorite restaurants here in my city. And so we were there, and we began talking again, and I think like 2 drinks in, he asked me to marry him. So I was like, let's do it, jokingly. So he was like, let's. So he pulled his credit card out and he slid it across the table to me, and he was like, he said, book everything. He said, book the flight. He said, if you want to do first class, we could do first class. He said, book whatever you want. Like, if whatever, however you want it, just book it. He was like, he was going to sit there and I was going to just be on his phone and book everything while we were sitting at this dinner table having, at that point we were having drinks. We had dinner already. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, are you for real? So he's like, I'm dead serious. Like, this man was dead serious. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I said, I was joking. So he was like, I'm not joking. He said, you know, at my age, I think he was like 58. I was 46 at the time. I'm 48 now. And he was like, at my age, I know what I want. And he was like, I want you. And he was like, and why would we wait? We've both been married. He had been married 3 times. He was like, we've both been married. We're adults. Like, I know what I want. I think we have good chemistry. I think we, you know, so I teased him and I said, you know, well, you don't know what that's like, you know, like I just teased him a little bit. And he was like, I don't care. He was like, I want to marry you. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell did I get myself into? So I just talked to him and I just was like, look, I want to date you. We could date, you know, but I don't want to marry you. Like, I don't even know you. Like, I have to know you to know that I want to marry you, you know. And he proceeded to tell me the high value. I'm a high value man. I have my own insurance company. I'm an attorney at law, and I own a restaurant and all that. I hope nobody don't know this man and say, oh, this lady was talking about you. And he just proceeded to tell me all his financial achievements and stuff, and you know, and I'm like, that don't mean shit to me, you know. And eventually I talked him out of, well, I didn't talk him out of the marriage thing, but I just got off the subject and we got into something else, and just maybe holding hands and sweet nothings and talking like that. And I think we left and we went to another bar. We had drinks and we just had more conversation. And we got back to his hotel. He walked me back to my car and I went home. I think we spoke on the phone, maybe because he called me like the next day. But I think we had maybe like 4 more conversations on the phone after that. But I think it was more like it got overwhelmingly demanding. Like, he would, like, for instance, one time I was driving my daughter to her grandmother's house, and her grandmother lives in the city, and I was like, I'm driving and I'm on my way to the city. And he said, did I tell you you could go to the city? And I said, and I like laughed. And he was like, I'm serious. He like, why are you going to the city? Like, what are you going to the city for? And I was like, Burr? Like, I was like, you serious? And then I said, I'm going to take my daughter to see her grandmother. But what do you mean? Like, I just felt so uncomfortable with somebody like questioning me like that, you know. And something else happened. Like, he just kept prying me for my address. And I wasn't ready to move that fast as he was trying to move. Like, he was on to ask somebody to marry them on the first date, like, or the second date. He was like on 100. and I was like on 2, and so I think I ended up blocking him. I think something happened and he said something and I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. And I text him. I didn't have a conversation with him. I did text him and I said, look, I was just like, I'm just starting this dating thing out and I don't know how to date. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm scared at this point. I told him that. I said, I'm scared because I don't really know what I want. And I don't know if I'm ready to share my life with somebody. So I wish you the best in finding that relationship that you're looking for. I think that pretty much sums it up what I said. And then I just blocked him. But the crazy thing about it is it's like 2 years later and I'll randomly get texts from him. I'm sure it's him. It can be somebody else, but I'm thinking it's him because even after I blocked him, he had started sending like text messages through like weird different numbers and stuff. And like I still get them every now and then. It'd be like, I miss you, or I want you to meet me somewhere, or it's nothing too crazy. It's always just something insinuating us being together, if that makes sense. But like I said, I ended up blocking him and moving on to the next weirdo, which I have about 6 weirdo stories. But yeah, that was just one. And yeah, dating as a single Black woman in the United States of America is crazy because people these days are so selfish. It is crazy how selfish people are these days. So I know that technically we are supposed to go into things and think not only of ourselves, but we are supposed to think about ourselves going into relationships. But it is good when you know that a relationship takes 2 people and you are considerate of the other person and their feelings and their thoughts. A lot of times I see in dating these days, it's like me, 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 me. It's about me. This is my dating experience. Me, 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 me. When I feel like if you dating somebody, you need to take me out of the equation. And like, I mean, it is about you, but like I said, you have to go in dating. So you have to think about the other person. If you sneeze the wrong way, you blocked. If you had on the wrong shoes, oh hell no, her shoes she had on some flats. Like, I don't want nobody who wear flats. Like, it's just the smallest things people will say something is like wrong with you. You know, I'm missing a tooth here. Oh my God, her tooth is missing. Don't worry, I'm working on it. It costs about $8,000, so I'm working on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm insecure. Like, I had a guy that actually told me, "Oh, you have a missing tooth." I said, "Yeah, I do." I said I was eating popcorn and there was a kernel in it, and I cracked the tooth on the kernel that I did not know was in my popcorn. So I'm working on it. And I didn't hear from that guy again. So clearly my missing tooth knocked him off, And that's okay, because I didn't need him anyway if he's afraid of a missing tooth. But yeah, I think that we all deserve love and fairness. And, I found my person. I am in love. And I did find him, well, he found me on, I think he was on BLK, and he said he was on Facebook, and he saw my pictures on both places, but I never picked him because I never picked anybody. So he followed me over to TikTok too. And now we are together, but he is a hot mess, honey, but I love him. So that being said, that's my dating story, y'all. At least I didn't talk about weight loss today, or my it girl thing. But I mean, next time I'm gonna hopefully have some good news for y'all. Tell y'all I lost a few pounds, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys, I love y'all. See y'all next time. Subscribe, watch these videos, because I ain't making them for no reason at all. So love y'all. See y'all later. Bye.